Imagine finally retiring, moving into your dream home, only to realize just a few short years later, every single day feels like a battle. Stairs you hate, a yard that owns you, rooms that echo so loud you can't hear the TV. Does that sound familiar? Well, if you're over 50 and thinking about your forever home, you need to hear this. Hi, I'm Chris from Retire Smart, Live Happy, and today I'm revealing the 7 features in a retirement home that almost everyone regrets once they live there a while. These aren't obvious deal breakers at first glance, but quietly steal your freedom, your energy, and your joy as the years go by. They're from the sneaky Stairmaster entry that turns grocery shopping into a workout, to a beautiful open floor plan layout that makes every conversation sound like you're in a canyon, to yards that demand more time than your grandkids do. I'm going to show you exactly what to watch out for and what smart alternatives actually make retirement easier and happier. Stick around, because avoiding these 7 mistakes could save you thousands in renovations, or even worse, another move you never wanted. So let's dive in. Number 1 starts right now. The first regret is going to be the Stairmaster entryway. Now, many of you might be thinking, Chris, I'm in great shape. I cycle, I run. Stairs are good for me. And that's a fair point. But the question isn't whether you can climb stairs today. The question is, can you climb them carrying 3 bags of groceries when your knee is acting up on a rainy Tuesday? I've seen clients fall in love with these styles or homes with the big dramatic foyers. But if there isn't at least one 0-step or a 1 or 2-step entry into the house and a full living setup, bedroom, full bath, kitchen, and laundry on a main floor, you're taking a massive gamble. You don't have to live in a Rambler, but you do need the option to live in a 1-level place. If a twisted ankle or a hip replacement surgery would render your bedroom or your shower totally inaccessible in that house is not a forever home. It's a temporary home waiting for a crisis. And we need to find you a solution with main level living. For sure, the primary bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom on the ground level. So if you're finding any of this information I'm sharing with you in these videos helpful, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button to the channel. I appreciate it, and thanks for the help. All right, now back to feature number 2, the Pinterest yard. We can all too easily fall into the trap of envisioning retirement of endless days, leisurely gardening. You see the half-acre lot, the swimming pool, the intricate hedges, and you think, I finally have time for this. But here's the reality check. Landscaping is physical labor, and as we age, that labor goes from being a hobby to a chore, and eventually to a liability. If you can't maintain it yourself, you have to pay someone else to do it. I've reviewed budgets for clients where the landscaping, pool, maintenance costs were higher than their property taxes. It's a hidden inflation factor in your retirement budget. So if you've answered yes to wanting a big yard, you have to answer a follow-up question. Are you willing to budget $3,000 to $5,000 a year for someone else to maintain it when your back decides to retire from gardening too? If not, look for a low maintenance exterior. Your future self will thank you. And HOAs can be great, but remember they also have downsides to them as well. So be careful when picking an HOA or community to live in. More on that in a future video. Feature number 3 involves something you can't see, but you definitely notice: the echo chamber. Open concept living has been the trend for 20 years. Tear down the walls, let the light in, and visually it's stunning. But acoustically, it can be a disaster for seniors. As we get older, our ability to filter out background noise diminishes. When you combine an open kitchen with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and stone countertops, you create a trampoline of bouncing sound waves. The dishwasher running, the TV on in the background, and a conversation at the dinner table all blend into a wall of noise. I've had clients tell me they stopped hosting dinner parties simply because they couldn't hear their guests in their own beautiful modern great room. So I'm not suggesting that you go to a compartmentalized layout, but look for homes with sound dampening materials, carpet in the bedrooms, curtains, acoustic panels, or layouts that offer some separation between the noise of the kitchen and the relaxation of the living room. And if you already live in a home with an echo problem, don't stress too much. There are always ways to fix it. Feature number 4 is poor lighting, or what we call the dungeon effect. It's a biological fact that A 60-year-old needs about 3 times as much light as a 20-year-old eye to see the same detail. Yet so many homes are built with mood lighting in mind. Dark corners, limited overhead fixtures, and hallways that are shadowed even at noon. This isn't about reading a book, it's about safety. Shadowy steps and dark transitions between rooms are fall hazards. You want a home flooded with natural light. Yes, but you also want extensive lighting. Under cabinet lights in the kitchen, bright lights in the closets, and illuminated pathways. Actually, one of the simplest upgrades that I recommend, and frankly, every home should have these, regardless of the age of the people living in them, are motion sensor night lights. You can pick up a pack of motion sensor night lights on Amazon for like 20 bucks and stick them anywhere. Stick them on the baseboards, in the hallway, and in the bathroom. When you wake up at 2 a.m., you shouldn't have to fumble in the dark. It's a small investment for a massive increase in safety. Now, this one might sound a little bit contradictory, but hear me out for a second. Feature number 5 is buying a small home that is too small. We talk a lot about downsizing or right sizing. Get rid of the clutter, but there is such a thing as overcorrecting. You might think it's just the two of us. We only need 1,000 square feet. But ask yourself this: do you and your spouse spend 24 hours a day together right now? Probably not. In retirement, that changes. You are together all the time. You love your spouse. I'm sure they're a wonderful person, but everyone needs a door they can close once in a while. Whether it's a hobby room, a separate den, a laundry room, or just a reading nook. If you move into a space where you are constantly in each other's line of sight and earshot, it creates friction. I've seen couples unretire just to get some personal space. Don't downsize your square footage so much that you downsize your marriage. Make sure there's enough room for independent lives to happen under one roof. Feature number 6 is what I call the fortress. This refers to narrow doorways and tight layouts. In older homes especially, bathroom doors can be as narrow as 24 inches. A standard walker is about 25 to 27 inches wide. Do the math before you have to do extensive renovations. If you break a leg skiing or you need a surgery that requires a walker for a few weeks, you might physically not be able to get into your own bathroom. This is one of the most common reasons people are forced to renovate or move in a crisis. When you're looking at a home, look for universal design principles. You want doorways that are at least 32 inches wide, preferably 36. A wheelchair, for example, is about 27 inches wide. Also, you want lever door handles, not knobs that are hard to turn with old arthritic hands. It doesn't look institutional if it's done right. It just looks spacious. But the extra few inches of width makes a difference between aging in place and being forced out. And that brings us to our final feature, feature number 7, living on an island. You know what they say about real estate. It's about location, location, location. A good location has a different meaning depending on where you are in life. Many retirees dream of that cabin in the woods or the house miles away from the hustle and bustle and all the noise, but isolation is a major health risk. And practically speaking, you have to consider your driving longevity. If you can no longer drive at night, or if eventually you can't drive at all, how do you get food? How do you get to the doctor? How do you see your friends? If your home is an island where the only connection to the outside world is a car you drive yourself, well, you risk becoming a prisoner in your own home. The best retirement locations are often those with walkability, access to rideshare services, or strong community support networks nearby, or at least availability to Uber rides. The goal here isn't to scare you out of moving. It's just to ensure that when you do make that move, it's the last one that you'll have to make, not just the next one. So to help you with this, I've created that Forever Home Safety and Comfort Checklist. It covers everything we discussed today, plus several more items, including HVAC and electrical safety. You can find the link in the description down below. So if you've answered yes to wanting to secure a comfortable future, download that checklist, take a hard look at your housing plan, and ask yourself if it really is the fit for you and your future. And if you're wondering if your house is too big for you, watch this next video I have right here, and you'll be able to answer that question. Until the next one, be safe, my friends.